lack of financial resources, lack of infrastructure, not enough teaching staff, insufficient qualified teaching staff, lack of recognition for teaching in staff career progression. Mind this word, I was talking about incentive. What incentive you will give? Internal governance structure, resistance among teaching staff, national regulations and constraints, and of course there are many other reasons which are of minor nature. I am not mentioning that. For the teaching system, there is a most important integrated approach has to be taken, that integrate competencies of teaching, research and management in the teacher. If these are not integrated, then you have problem. Teaching competencies, research competencies and management competencies. All three have to be improved. So that's why there are about 10 shifts to transform higher education. The enablers for that are empowered governance, autonomous we talk of, empowered governance, innovation ecosystems you have to create. Like today, Niti Aayog has provided in the schools and middle schools and high schools and even some of the higher education, Atal Innovation Mission is providing you an ecosystem for doing innovation. We have requested the state innovation councils also to provide a similar infrastructure for all the states. Slowly it is happening. I am sure certainly it will happen. Global prominence, this is another point. Globalized online learning system and transform higher education delivery. These are enablers. What is the outcome I am looking at? There are about 5 outcome parameters. One is the holistic entrepreneurial and balanced graduates. Are we producing that? What is the talent excellence? Next one is notion of what is called lifelong learners. Learning doesn't end with just a degree. You have to create a lifelong learner. That's why there is a lady of 67-year-old who has done a PhD in some Punjab college, I noticed. Quality graduates and of course financial sustainability. These are the outcomes. Quality is to be looked at in a slightly different manner as far as education is concerned. Quality is not like a product quality we take an engineering good. It is actually a very important parameter in which it's not like goods and services. I think it's an intrinsic feature of education for which we have to look for. Despite adopting some rigid and strict universal parameters to assess quality, it may be noted that the assurance system measures quality in a holistic manner because some crucial detriments. What are those? Quality education like teachers' motivation. How do you get that? Is the teacher really motivated? I don't know whether your accreditation system or quality system is really in a position to gauge that. So we have to look for that also as a parameter. Quality assurance agency should not treat quality as a homogeneous substance across nations, as it is also associated with societal and cultural value systems. They should maintain diversity of global education systems. In the name of improving efficiency in higher education, the quality assurance system should be cautious while advocating corporate type management system. No, it should be actually transformative higher education system. Then quality assurance mechanism should understand the varied reasons for poor. We should have also identified what are the reasons poor quality, just the performance of the education system in accordance with the objectives, missions, visions and goals. What are those? Are they matching as far as system is concerned? That's why in India we were talking about implementation. We have got a program called EQUIP. Many of you must have heard about it. It is a program with the acronym Education Quality Accreditation and Inclusion Program. Program is meant to bridge the gap between policy and implementation. And its focus is to improve access to higher education, improve gross GER, improve teaching and learning, build educational infrastructure, improve the quality of research, and use technology for online learning tools. This is what is happening. Now I want to touch upon accreditation. Accreditation is the act of granting credit or recognition, especially with respect to education institutions. Of course, all of us know that it is important, education is very important. Thus there is a premium on both quantity and quality. We cannot have only quantity, which has been done in the last about 10-15 years. We have created educational institutions, in multiplied medical college, multiplied engineering colleges, multiplied IITs without basic infrastructure and things like that. So we had quantity, but quality suffered. We should never have. And a NAC has been set up to facilitate the volunteering institutions to assess their performance vis-a-vis set parameters. So what is the advantage of accreditation? Accreditation facilitates institution to know its strength, weakness and opportunities through an informative due process. It also helps you to identify internal areas of planning and resource allocation. It also sees whether there is a collegiality in the campus. It is not a monarchy. It should be a system of taking decisions in a collegiate manner. Funding agencies look for objective data for performance funding. They also look at what is the kind of accreditation you have. Institutions to initiate innovative and modern method of pedagogy. New sense of direction and identity of the institution. It also facilitates society to look for reliable information. Employers also look for reliable information on the quality of education offered to the prospective recruits. And intra and inter-institutional interactions, it helps you. Although it is an efficient way to boost quality, accreditation I'm talking about, and accountability as it promotes an internal improvements, no one really likes accreditation, but we don't know what is the other alternative. This is the tragedy of the situation. Actually, institutions get benefited because of accreditation, because it provides through the stimulus provided for self-evaluation, the strengthening of the infrastructure, institutional program and self-evaluation, application of criteria for accrediting bodies, enhancing the reputation of the institution, and use of accreditation as one means by which an institution can gain eligibility for participation of itself and its students in the certain programs where the government aid is likely to come. Then today you are also going to discuss in this workshop about the ranking system. There is a lot of debate in the country whether ranking system is required, not required, is it good or bad. Ranking of higher education systems today, if you see, most often it's conducted by magazines. India Today gives a ranking system, Outlook gives a ranking, all kinds of things happen. And many newspapers, websites are doing this. But ranking has to be done in a much more organized manner. It should be performance ranking of specific programs are also, people are saying whether the EdTech program is successful or not successful. So various programs are being looked at. There are known colleges ranking of student academic quality also, some people are doing that. Some rankings evaluate institutions within a single country, some people evaluate across. We are doing that. This subject has produced much debate about rankings, usefulness and accuracy. There is a huge problem as far as the ranking is concerned. So, what for the ranking can be used? Yes, you should have a ranking system. It can be used for teaching, research, community service, basically to improve activities that have been developed according to each institution's mission. Suppose there is an institution which is ranked 1. You find that there are certain attributes of teaching, research and community. You can take it in your institution with of course certain changes because every ecosystem has a different requirement. Strategic planning. Ranking can be used for quality improvement. It can be used for promoting international collaboration. I think Mr. Mittal talked about the international collaboration and bringing more and more foreign students in your system. It can be used for the purpose of fundraising. It can be used as a publicity, reputation, marketing purpose, and for also interaction between various organizations. IITs are able to have an interaction with MIT, but not a normal university. Why? Because they are ranked better. So that is the reason it is a very, very important thing. A recognized accrediting organization provides evidence, but if it is recognized, then you have 3 things that will be applicable there. Promotes quality and advancement student achievements, demonstrates public accountability, and sustain an effective accreditation structure and organization. I want to say something about what modern universities should do. What should we do about the modern? Break down the barriers around the universities in India. This is one of the major requirements. There was a workshop conducted by Honorable President Shri Pranab Mukherjee ji. I think many of you must have attended that. How to bring at least some 100 universities in the country, some universities in the country to come within the first 100 globally. And there we said that break down the barriers, ensure real autonomy, provide incentives for the structured partnership with business community. Then we said provide the right mix of skills and competencies for the labor market, what the market demands. We also said reduce the funding gap and make funding work more effectively in education and research. We said that enhance interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary work, because today you cannot continue in one discipline. Then you need active knowledge through interaction with society, reward excellence at the highest level, and make the India's higher education area and research more visible and attractive in the world. If it has to happen, we have to do a lot of steps for that. So, what is the road ahead for 2030? Host of reforms, financial